Evening and welcome to the Pmbc meeting for Wednesday, November 9th. We'll call the meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is the warrant. I guess I'll have to pull that up. Can you guys see this?
Oh.
No, share screen. That's not it. Warrant.
And make certain it's opened in one of the windows.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Yes,
There you go.
there.
Okay, so we only have two items on the warrant this evening. One is for Fitzsimmons and Toshi. They are the commissioning agents doing the work on the solar panels for the library, $660. The second one is the final invoice from the waterproofing company. They apparently never submitted their last invoice. $26,686.59 for a total of $27,346.59. Any questions, discussion?
Make a motion. We vote to approve the warrant for $27,346.59.
Okay, Bob Romley makes the motion. Is there a second?
Second, Mike Scaduto.
Okay, all in favor? Bob?
Bob Rumley, yes.
Stacy?
Stacy, yes.
Mike?
Mike Scaduto, yes.
And Steve, yes. Great. Next item on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes from 10/26. I sent out some edits on that on the meeting minutes earlier today. Any comments or corrections? Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes as amended?
I'll motion. No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'll motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Mike?
I'll second it, Bob Rumley.
Okay, all in favor? Bob?
Bob Rumley, yes.
Stacy?
Stacy Demaris, yes.
Mike?
Mike Scaduto, yes.
And Steve Moore, yes. Okay, we'll move on to the Shaker Lane feasibility study. Well, actually, there's no information on that. Steve Mark is to schedule the next committee meeting on that. So since he's not here, we'll move on to the library. Brian, any updates?
Yeah, and apologies, my internet's a little spotty, so I don't have my video on here. Currently at the library, we had the solar contractor on site the beginning of this week, and the electrician. We have both arrays fully installed up on the roof, and we have wires now pulled down into the electric room into the basement. In talks with both the owner of that company and the on-site electrician, the only pieces of equipment that we are missing now are the inverters, which we are scheduled for the beginning of December. I have them scheduled as soon as they're delivered. It is a 1 to 2 day install. We will have the commissioning agent working with them during the installation to get the commissioning done as fast as possible. Once that is complete, the designer of record, Johnson Roberts of the library, will submit the lead package for the building, which will result in the green library incentive that we're looking for once the lead certification is given to the building. I had a meeting with the town accountant, Alicia Nunley, the finance director, as we begin to close out the accounts on this project. The trustees have approved some small work, inclusive of the EV charger being metered separately per the request of the town administrator. That excavation will begin on Monday. He's also has some back ordered parts, but he will have all infrastructure in the ground so that if the ground is frozen, he still will be able to get this done. So we have that being completed. We've also today scheduled the additional programming for the BMS system, or the building management system, to try to cater the scheduling of the library to make sure that we are minimizing the amount of energy consumption that we have. So that is scheduled for a week and a half from now. I'm confirming with the trustees that they're good with that date. And then we're also requiring to have a training day with the trustees and staff to make sure that they're happy with what programming had been done. So that will be done the first week of December. And ultimately, the hope is by the new year, the building will be commissioned, the PV solar system will be operable, and the building will be running as intended by the trustees with their new settings.
Brian, can we get somebody to record that so that they have something to fall back onto, so that we don't have to call somebody out for
Yep, definitely. I know that's been a point with a lot of projects that we're finishing about, either staff turnover or someone wasn't there for training, and we want to make sure that the training is recorded and recorded properly so that people can understand it.
Great.
We've also talked with George in facilities, has been working with a company regarding maintenance for the project. We're going to make sure that they're included with the building management system to make sure that they understand the changes and can make alterations if needed from what's going to be programmed.
So Brian, once the solar panels are operational and supporting the electrical needs of the building, that there's no impact on the building information or the building management system, right? That just kind of monitors the electrical.
Correct. Yep.
All right.
So the PV system will have its own monitoring system, which will be talking about the amount of kilowatt hours that are generated, but that won't have anything to do with the actual management system of occupied and unoccupied set points, temperature set points, outdoor air set points, as well as some of the requests are creating different zones in the library that get different usages at different points of the day.
So I know this is a little bit late in the program, but I've seen projects where they have a little display screen,
Sure.
which shows the energy efficiency of the solar panels and how it helps out with the the energy consumption. Is that something we might think about, or is that something that the trustees have talked about?
I think it's smart. I'll touch base with the engineer to see exactly what's being provided under this contract, and then we can talk with LELD about what add-ons could be done if we wanted to do that and have a user-friendly interface that kind of shows what's being generated on site.
I mean, it's an educational tool, and I think putting it in the library would be,
Sure. Yep.
would be a great asset.
Understood.
Yeah. Carlson Orchards up the hill there, Brian, does that so you can see what they're doing for generating. But it's also a destination for anybody who wants to see how a small scale solar farm works. And it's something I'm sure the school district would probably be interested in depending upon the outcome.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Brian.
Steve. You brought that up.
Brian, question on the charging stations.
Yep.
Are these going to be a credit card operated, or how is this going to work?
Yep. So currently right now, all we have is one charging station. We're going to have provisions for 2 more. So ultimately the maximum that the provisions we're putting in the ground right now would be for 6 parking spaces. The charger that we have right now feeds 2, and that is fed, ultimately is on, I think it's called the charge point system,
Right.
which is, used on an account basis, and you charge it to your credit card. Ultimately, I know that some chargers in town may not be assessing fees, but that would be at the discretion of the light department.
Yeah. You just don't want somebody parking their car there overnight and charging it
Right.
on our nickel.
Good point, Bob. Thanks.
Let's do that now.
Anything else on the library, Brian?
Lighting?
No, sir.
Lighting?
Oh, yeah, sure. I got reached out to Kirby earlier today. He seems to have some issues with some of the lighting controls that we're having. I haven't heard any complaints from the staff, but I have the contact. His name's Vince. He's from the lighting control manufacturer, and I'll make sure that if the training wasn't adequately recorded, and I can't get that to you, then I will go through the O&Ms and reach out to Vince and have him touch base with you personally.
Okay.
For some,
The question, Brian, is that the time we were supposed to get training, if you recall that one Friday, we were going to do it early and then we got pushed off and then it never really happened.
yep, understood.
So it's if there's something to video to be seen, that's great. But it was comments that have been made by folks who've been using the room and then making comments about, lights going out or lights staying on in other locations. So
Got it.
I just want to be sure we're following the rules.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the police station. The window issue. We did get a response from Arno, which, Brian, to my, he was talking about we were going to replace the windows with aluminum and we didn't, and it has nothing to do with the windows. It has to do with the casing. So
Casing, correct.
I totally discounted his response, but quite frankly, there's one window. It had some issues. I don't even know what we do with that.
Trim the blind.
Yeah, exactly. Cut a quarter-inch off the sides of the blinds. So I think are we done with this item?
If that's the route, I would say so, that the invoice that was on the warrant tonight was the final invoice that was for the contractor.
Right.
All other parties have been fully paid. So that account is ready to be closed out from a financial standpoint.
Okay. So I'm going to take it off the agenda for the next meeting. On to the senior center, which is the big item for the night. Go ahead, Brian.
Yep. Thanks. So we've had a lot of progress since the past 2 weeks on our search for our next construction manager for the senior center. We received a request for proposals, the technical portions and the price portions. My office held the price portions back as we want to do a fair assessment of both of the technical proposals from the CMs that we received the request for proposals from. That resulted in our selection committee reviewing all of those proposals and then setting up an interview with the 2 firms that ultimately qualified. We had those interviews Monday afternoon, and these interviews were with Castagna Construction and with Commodore Builders. After the interview, the selection team sat and ranked the CMs based upon their statement of qualifications, their technical proposals, and their interview and how their interview went. Based upon that, the selection committee recommended Commodore Builders as their preferred choice. And at that point, I was able to share with them the CM fee proposals that we broke down to make apples to apples between the 2 firms to see how their fees compared. We also checked to confirm with them that they satisfied the requests that I had put in the RFP, such as acknowledging addenda and breaking out proposals. It was found that Commodore Builders were the lesser of the 2 from a fee standpoint. They also acknowledged all of the addenda and also broke out their proposals between a technical and price proposal, which is something the addenda and the proposals was something that Castagna had omitted. Based upon that, with the recommended construction manager being Commodore from a non-price proposal and Commodore being the lowest fee proposal, it was recommended by the selection committee to bring to you tonight to recommend Commodore Builders to be the construction manager at risk for the senior center project.
So Brian, can I just add that the selection of Commodore was unanimous by the selection committee?
Yep.
And the price proposal from Commodore was about 12% less than Castagna.
Correct. And so, Vertex has reviewed the fee proposal from Commodore Builders. We feel as though even with them being low, that is a fair and reasonable proposal. And based on that, with the recommendation from the selection committee and your vote, we would engage with town council in beginning drafting a contract to issue to them for pre-construction services. The pre-construction services portion of their contract was $50,000. And that would get us for 6 months of pre-construction services to get us up to a guaranteed maximum price, in which we'll be coming back to you for the approval of a notice to proceed based upon that guaranteed maximum price for construction.
And I would add that they had given a 50% reduction in the pre-construction cost as an incentive, which Castagna did not, which is kind of typical in the industry, but I'm surprised Castagna didn't do that. Would you agree, Mike?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree. You don't want to know what my company charges for pre-con.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I did send out the price comparison sheet between the two firms. I sent that to Steve and Bob earlier. That can be made available to anybody at the PMBC. I also have the notes and the evaluations that was done by the selection committee that I can distribute, as that's going to be public record as well. But ultimately, yeah, we have the form of contract with Jenny from town council. We'll be working with her with your affirmative vote here, and hopefully we can award something in the near future.
So based on Brian's recommendation, or OPM's recommendation, is there a motion to approve Commodore as the cement risk for the senior center?
And I would just add, Steve, I'm sorry to interrupt, is just that this would be the recommendation based on the selection committee. And so, we helped oversee that and chaired some of the interviews, but I want to make sure that, the decision was on the selection committee. And that's what I'm bringing to you guys today.
Well, that's exactly right. And can you remind us who was on the selection committee?
That's so we had Liz Treetech who's the senior center director. We had Bartlett Harvey, who's here on PMBC. He came to and was part of the selection committee. We had Drayton Fair from LLB Architects. Myself represented Vertex companies, and Anthony Ansaldi, the town administrator, was not officially part of the selection committee, but he did sit in for the interviews and did his own assessment. And Bob Romley as well was the fifth member of the selection committee that we had.
Bob was the out sick one.
That's right.
Well, but you had input.
Yes,
Exactly.
I gave Brian my thoughts. I spoke to Brian that morning on the phone and gave him my thoughts from what I had read over on the two proposals. I make a motion, Steve, that we go forward with what the committee recommended, and we sign a contract with Commodore.
Is there a second?
Second, Stacy Damaris.
No. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. I should have asked for questions or comments.
Oh, no, I don't have any questions. I was just seconding it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Stacy. All in favor? Bob?
Bob Romley, yes.
Stacy?
Stacy Damaris, yes.
Mike?
Mike Scaduto, yes.
Bartlett?
Bartlett Harvey, yes.
And Steve Moore, yes. Thank you. Any other comments or questions on the senior center?
Yes,
Just
sir,
a quick-
if I could. Brian, we had the one meeting quite a long ago about design requirements for AV and have heard nothing.
Yeah, Suzanne DeSalvo from LLB Architects has been in touch with Mark. I told them to include you on that, and I know that they're they're at a point now where they're working with, they want to make sure that they're code compliant. So they have a
Yes.
meeting with Ed this week. And then there'll be another round with town departments, checking on the progress of their design and the questions that each department had.
Thank you very much, Brian.
And a quick thank you to everybody that was part of the selection committee. I know that some of that work can be time consuming and dry, but I thought it was well done. I do think, Steve, maybe it would be right to have a letter come from possibly the PMBC informing the other CM who we're planning on engaging with negotiations for. It's something I can help draft. But I thought, both firms were qualified. I thought they did a good job, and ultimately, the decision was made. So I wanted to thank them for at least taking their time and showing us what they thought they could do for the project.
I saw the letter from Castagna today,
Yep.
indicating that they had worked on the middle school with Rich Crowley. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, if you could draft a letter to both of the firms acknowledging who is the selected firm and who is not, that would be helpful.
Sure.
Brian,
And I guess an electronic signature is valid in that instance.
I think so.
Thank you.
Brian, Senior Center meeting Thursday?
Tomorrow,
Yes.
Yep.
2?
correct.
Okay.
Oh, really? 2 o'clock?
Yep.
And how long is that going to last?
They usually last about an hour as we go through some of the, well, I've been taking up a good portion of it as we've been narrowing in our CM search. Now that we're almost home with that, we think that would be more focused on some of the beginning stages of construction documents.
Is that virtual?
Yes,
Can you send me an invite to that?
doing it right now.
Okay, I have it 2 o'clock, but it should only last for about 10 minutes.
Cool.
I can jump on late.
Sending it to you right now.
Brian, did you send one out to me?
I'll send it to you right now.
Okay.
I'm on vacation all day tomorrow, but I've already got 3 meetings for work and now this one. So,
That doesn't sound like vacation.
yeah, it is what it is.
Sure.
Oh, so anything else on the senior center?
Nothing now. Nope. Thank you.
Okay, member input, Bob,
I'm all set for now.
Stacy,
I'm all set. Thank you.
Mike,
I'm good, thanks.
Bartlett.
I'm all set, thanks.
Okay, so and I'm all good. The next meeting is November 23rd.
Now, that's the night before
I
Thanksgiving.
know, I was just about to say. So if that's not going to work for people, and I don't think there's anything really pressing, maybe we just kick that into the first or the second Wednesday in December.
We don't have any bills coming in, do we?
I haven't seen anything from Vertex unless Brian has something coming in.
I can check, but that's something that we can wait till the second week of December.
Okay, so yeah, the day before Thanksgiving is probably not going to work. So, do we have an agreement to just push it to the second week in December?
I'm fine with that.
Good. Okay, I don't think we need a motion. I'll just change the. We'll just change it accordingly. Okay, is there a meeting to adjourn? Or is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thanks, Bartlett.
Rummy seconds it.
Okay, all in favor, Bob,
Bob Rumley, yes.
Stacy,
Stacy Maris, yes.
Mike,
Mike Scaduto, yes.
Bartlett,
Bartlett, yes.
Okay, thanks again for all your participation and your time. Appreciate it, and we'll see you in December.